Good morning, still Daybreak, Africa reaching you here from our studios in Ondo City. This morning we shall be talking on the post-protest analysis, its impact so far. And of course with us in the house, it's one I fondly called political prophet. Hey Sam, Olorunfemi. Well, this morning we shall be discussing NLC stands. We're talking about NLC call for release of detainees, and then subsequently, maybe in the second half of the discuss this morning, we shall be talking on the blockage of 83 billion naira. Now, it was believed the funds was sort of a mobilization fund, so as to enable the protesters do what they do best. And of course, like I said, with us in the house is Sam Olorunfemi. Welcome on the show, Sam.
Good morning, Ezekiel.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Angela, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
Welcome back from that trip. I would tell our viewers.
Please don't.
When you traveled to Togo, welcome back from that trip.
Thank you very much.
Now, Sam, there have been talks as regarding number of detainees and the current status. Maybe we'd like to hear from you. How true is the words, spreading around that we had certain persons being detained? We have, and more like the way it's been done was not legal per se. Some people believe they just stormed and then just pick innocent persons. I would like to get your say generally on this issue before we go into details.
Yeah, well, thank you, Ezekiel, for having me once again. I think this is divided into two. We have some that were arrested based on their exercising their fundamental rights on that particular day, and to the best of my knowledge, I think we have those that were arrested based on looting, based on damaging of government properties, based on try to carry out some criminal acts during the protest. Don't forget that during that particular protest, some lawyers in Lagos State said that they will offer what we call the pro bono, which means offer free legal services, particularly to those that, in fact, they already envisaged that there might be a possibility that police officers will arrest some protesters on that particular day. So they gather themselves that during that particular 10-day protest, whoever been arrested by Nigerian police, that they will go there and just offer a free legal service for them to be released. And we saw some cases in Lagos State where some people were arrested, And in fact, that particular day, some lawyers who also took part in that particular protest, specifically in Lagos State now, went to some police stations where some people were detained. And at the end of the day, those guys were released. The same thing happened in Abuja. Some people were arrested in Abuja. Some lawyers also went to that particular police stations, and all those that were arrested during that particular protest, they were released. So Ezekiel, I think the issue that Labour is talking about are trying to advise the federal government that those that were detained, I think the detainees now during the protest, the federal government need to release them. And I think we need to do our analysis here so that at least we will not join EU on a big abstract in such a way that people will be advocating for criminals who indulge in criminal activities during that particular protest. Ezekiel, you know that on day one of that particular protest, we saw what happened in some other part of the country, Kano, Maiduguri, and some state to be precise, where some people even deviated from the real protest and they went looting, damaging government properties, setting places ablaze, and so on and so forth. Law doesn't guarantee such. Law doesn't say that when you are protesting, you have the right. The right that you have under the law to protest is the same, the law that frown against any kind of criminal activities. Now, Ezekiel, nobody will argue that those who damage government properties, those who engage in looting during that particular protest should allow to be go scot-free.
No, I think the major point was detainees were said to be arrested unlawfully and without due process.
Okay,
that's what we're talking about.
Now, Ezekiel, if that should be the case, that people were arrested lawfully or unlawfully rather, without any kind of criminal activities charged against them, I think federal government has no right now to say that you want to arrest anybody or you want to detain anybody without indulge in any criminal activities, without violating any law, without taking law in its own hand. So I think that one is quite wrong and it's not right. And I think that is why Labour is saying that if that should be the case now, I don't see reason why government will start detaining some people because they are exercising their right under the Constitution. You know, we keep saying that Section 40 is very clear that guarantees our rights under the law for peaceful assembly. It must be a peaceful assembly. But I think I don't want to sound as if I'm here now to start advocating for Nigerian police force, you understand now? But at least we must do our findings critically to ensure why those people were arrested. You know, it is possible for people to come out and say that these people were arrested unlawfully, they were arrested when they were exercising their right under the law. But I think we need to know and get to the root of the matter. Because if truly these people were arrested unlawfully, Ezekiel, now we should be asking the question, where were they arrested? Does it mean that during that particular protest at that particular area, we don't have any legal people who also took part in that particular protest to know that these people have been arrested unlawfully? Because I cited an example now, the one that happened in Lagos, where some people were arrested unlawfully, and immediately lawyers who also took part in that particular protest did not even waste time. They went straight to that particular police station to plead for their people and to see reason why those people ought not to be arrested because they are exercising their right. So we need to do a lot of findings why these people, why they were arrested, if truly they were arrested unlawfully. And I think that one is contrary against the professionalism of the Nigerian police, because you can't say people should not go. Don't forget that before that protest, even the IG, the DSS, the Nigerian army came out to say that people, they have right now to go out and exercise their right under the law. But one law we frown against is when you go out and you start doing another thing contrary to what we call a peaceful assembly. You know, I started with the issue of when you go out now for a peaceful assembly and you again and during that particular protest, looting started, destroying of property started, intimidating people started, and so on and so forth. That one is not backed up by the law, and that one is quite against the law. So I think Nigerian police they don't have right now to arrest, because that one will serve as an intimidation, and that one will serve as infringing on their constitutional right, Ezekiel, to protest. Because when people go out to ventilate their opinions, you can't say that they should not go out and ventilate their opinions against the federal government. You know, before the protest, we were talking about, can we have a protest without being hijacked? Can we have a protest without going with the violence? Can we have a protest that will be highly peaceful in such a way that police will not see a reason to say that this is the reason why we interfere in your protest? This is the reason why we have to come up and arrest some people. So I think arresting people during the exercising of their right, I think it is quite unlawful unless those people indulge in any kind of criminal activity that go against the law that stipulates that people should go out and exercise that. So I think it's a wake-up call, and it's a good call that Labour now is calling on federal government now, that at least those that were arrested unlawfully during that particular protest, please release them as soon as well. And I want to believe that even lawyers who took part in that particular protest, in fact, we also need them now to be speaking at that particular point. Reason because they promised that during that particular protest they will protect the protesters against unlawful arrest by the Nigerian police force. You understand? So if these people truly arrested unlawfully, so I think it is high time for people now to come out now and fight for the right of the people. It's not new. During the End SARS protest 2020, in fact, in Ondo State, do Western government here, some people were arrested. And at the end of in fact, some people were even moved to Lokuta Maximum Prison in Akure, and it took them days, months, through legal tussle and so on and so forth before those people were released to their family members. So I think this one now, we need to understand what really happened. If truly, we can't, Ezekiel, it will be difficult, now, to say that all those who took part in that particular protest, all of them participated in line with the constitution that talks about free, fair, and peaceful assembly. We have some people that they'll be waiting for a time like this so that they can perpetrate their evil act, and so, and some will even hide under a peaceful protest, that we were on peaceful protest when so happened when we were arrested. So I think we need to go a little bit and deep into this matter, and that is where investigative journalism comes in at this particular time, Ezekiel. So I think media also have a role to play in this particular part. Those that were arrested, truly were they arrested unlawfully, or they indulged in some criminal activities that led to their arrest. So that I think maybe that will be able to, maybe that will help us not to unravel the reason behind that. I told you that some were arrested as well, and within 3 or 4 hours they were released because their lawyers let police to understand that these people are protesting lawfully under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay, let's bring it back home to the basis of the discourse, which is NLC requesting for the release of some of the members who were arrested from their headquarters in Abuja. Now, there was a raid in their headquarters in Abuja. So that was where they arrested, police went into their secretariat, arrested some of their members as well, took hold of some things, you know, and that has, I mean, NLC has not been taking that lightly. And I think a recent development here says NLC has requested for extension of time before the union's president responds to the police invitation over the allegation of terrorism financing, because this was the reason which police gave as to the reason why they raided the secretariat that very day.
Yes, and I think, Angela, moving out from 10 days hunger protests and bad governance, thinking that we have time to rest in Nigeria now, the EU of Labour president came up with the Nigerian police, where it was alleged to have involved in terrorism financing, cybercrime, about 4 or 5 allegations against him. Let me start from the EU of Nigerian police. We must understand that under the Constitution and under the Nigerian Police Act, they have the power and right now to invite anybody for questionings based on any allegation. It is only the president, the vice president, governors, and deputy governors under Section 308 of the Nigerian 1999 Constitution amended that are under immunity, that during the period that they will be in office, you dare not touch them. You know, Yaya Bello was in office for about 8 years. Pardon for going to Yaya Bello now. You know, it was after he left office that EFCC started to follow him. So this set of people, they are the only one that the law tried to protect a temporary, let me say a temporary cover for them, period of time they will be in office. But other Nigerians, nobody is immune to police invitation. Don't forget that what is going on between the NSC president and the Nigerian police force now is still an allegation, Angela. We must understand that still an allegation until is being found guilty by the competent court of jurisdiction. In fact, as a matter of fact, police can never say that Ajaero is guilty of that particular offense, because there's a quotation in the legal terms that say you can never be a judge in your own case. You see now? So police is alleging a kind of EU now against the NSC president, and that's what I'm saying, that there's nothing wrong if police say that, okay, we have this particular information about you, that you are financing terrorism and so on and so forth. So we need you in our office for some questionings, for some interrogation. And I'm happy. Don't forget that his lawyer happens to be a well-known Nigerian senior advocate of Nigeria, who happens to be an human rights activist. And during the letter his lawyer wrote to the Nigerian police force, I read that particular letter, and he stated that his client will attend or will honor the invitation, but the day the letter was conveyed to him to come, that particular time he also had an engagement that he will come some days to come. So that is where legal EU come into play now. So I believe that, to me, what matters most here is that Joe Ajaero now have the right now, because when you look at Section 36, Angela, under our Constitution, it talks about fair hearing. What does that mean? It means that if Sam is being alleged of any kind of corruption or any kind of bad thing, the law gives me right now for fair hearing. What does it mean? It means that you have to hear my own side of the story. You can't just say that you allege me of financing terrorism and you conclude that I'm guilty of that particular offense. The law says that, Section 36 to be precise, on our Constitution, that at least you give me a fair hearing. Fair hearing is talking about you can hear directly from me, or it can be through my lawyer. So it goes, whether me will come and tell you that, okay, the allegation is not true, these are the facts to back it up that At no point did I finance a terrorist and so on and so forth, or through my legal counsel can go and answer on my behalf. So I think that is the stage where we are now in this country. And I could remember when the first PRO was on national TV, you know, that particular activities happened at the wee hour of the night. You understand that? It was like, why will you go to a particular place at the wee hour of the night? And I think he responded professionally that the Nigerian police force doesn't have a particular time for them to carry out any kind of investigation. They can come 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., any time of the day to carry out that particular investigation. Although this is not the first time we go to witness this kind of issue that a particular security agency will bug into particular maybe agency or organization trying to get some files and so on and so forth. So I think our Nigerians has been reacting differently to this particular thing. That does it mean that the NSC president can finance terrorism and so on? In fact, I was live on the program and I was put on the spot by the presenter that, Sam, do you believe that Ajaero can finance? I said, well, this question, you ought to have framed this question, because if I say yes now, it shows that I've concluded the matter that truly is financing terrorism act. If I say no, that would be wrong, because I doesn't have facts to say that no or yes. And I said that it is court at the end of the day that will determine whether truly he has connection with financing terrorism and so on and so forth. So to me, and we've seen reactions, Angela, from different organized labor unions in Nigeria telling us that if police should go ahead maybe to detain, to harass their president, they will shut down the country. Some, I think, was it Disco telling us that they will shut down the country? I said, no, this is quite wrong. You can't, because of someone is being invited. It's still an invitation. It's yet to be detained. It's yet to be arranged in court. It's yet to be harassed. It's just an invitation. We will say because someone is being invited by the Nigerian police force, that you put your customers who know nothing about it in total darkness. So also, and I think, Angela, that what Nigerian police have started, I think they have their fact and figure, because the implication is that, because when you look at our terrorism act, it's a grievous offense, Angela, where you are being alleged that you are financing a terrorism act. It's a grievous offense and it's a capital offense under Nigerian terrorism act, because the punishment is either imprisonment in life, you understand now, or death by hanging. Because when you are financing a terrorist, it shows that you are collaborating, whether with external factors or internal factors now, to put down a democratic government system in your country. And section 41 of the criminal code, subsection A and D, is very clear, that talks about treasonable felony. When you are trying to break down a government of your country, a contravention to the provision of the law. That is section 1. Subsection 2 of the Nigerian 1999 Constitution as amended, it talks about section 41A under criminal code, talks about treasonable felony. Then when you go to D of the same section 41 of the criminal code, it talks about whoever found guilty of treasonable felony, that will be life imprisonment. So, and when you go again to Nigerian Terrorism Act, it tells you that everybody found in connection with sponsoring terrorism or has something to do with terrorist act is found guilty of treasonable felony, and the punishment is life imprisonment. So it is not a childish allegation when you say that you are financing a terrorism act. You know the implication of terrorism act when people are coming now to upturn or to turn down a democratic system of government in Nigeria. So I think at this particular time now, we should allow the law to take its course on the issue between Ajaero and the Nigerian police force. And I believe at the end of the day, because people are talking and people are insinuating that it's like this thing is highly politically motivated. Maybe they want to shut the Nigerian labor union through their president. But I don't have fact about that.
But like you said, we can't see what is or what is not.
Exactly.
So we leave that to the court.
Exactly.
To the court and Sir Ajaero.
Yes.
But I tend to wonder, with the present situation, don't you think it tends to probably affect the labor movement relationship with the federal, with the government, you know, and its willingness probably engaging in further dialogue?
It will, Ezekiel, because NSC now, in fact, that particular day now, they had an emergency meeting, online meeting, try to put all their chapters across the country on red alert, that if anything should go worse than that they shut down the country. So it's possible now to create some disharmony. Now let me use the word disharmony between the Labour and federal government. And now, and you see that Labour in Labour reaction now, they are not even reacting to the Nigerian police force. They are directing their reaction to federal government. You know, police force is an agency under the federal government, and people believe that whatever police police architecture is carrying out, particularly now, maybe someone that doesn't support your government. Don't forget that in the build-up to 2023 election, it was clear that Joe Ajaro came out now to throw his weight behind the political party in Nigeria. Since then, I think he has been having EU with some political class in this country. Don't forget the scenario that happened between him and Governor Opus Odima in the build-up to Imo governorship election. Angela, that it was beaten, it was dehumanized, it was treated in a bad manner. You see now. So since then, people have been looking at him that this is a man that's highly partisan. You see now that's trying to push his weight behind the political party, and normally is not supposed to be, because you are the president of Nigerian Labour Congress, and Labour Congress, to the best of my ability, is not part of the registered political parties that we have in Nigeria, because they're supposed to dissociate themselves with any kind of political. So since then, Joe Ajaro has been having EU with some political class in Nigeria. So when this started, Ezekiel, now, Labour Union started pointing an accusing finger directly to the federal government now. Now they abandoned the Nigerian police force that is carrying out the investigation now. They are channeling their energy now against the federal government. That it's like federal government is trying to use the instrumentality of the Nigerian police force now to intimidate their president, to harass their president, and to silence the Nigerian.
But why do you think they have this sense that is political driven?
No, Ezekiel.
I mean, that feeling.
Ezekiel, it has been there from time around, and the reason there is that president is the one that appoints his general police. President is the one that appoints Chief Justice of Nigeria. President is the one that appoints INEC chairman. President is the one that appoints Chief of Army Staff, and so on and so forth. So people tend to believe that whatever these guys, let me use the word guys, that we perform respect now, whatever they are doing the bidding of someone who appointed them to occupy that particular. You will see that after election, they tend to put the blame on INEC chairman that is working the bid of the person who appointed him to become the. It was in 2015 when Jonathan, it's not quite long when Jonathan appointed Professor Tairu Jaga to be the INEC chairman that we had 2015 election, and for God we have it now. Jonathan did not win that election. I think that was the first time people praised the INEC chairman in Nigeria, that this election was transparent, was fair, because the person appointed him did not win that particular election. So subsequent election or previous election, don't forget the hero of Maurice Iwu in Nigeria. Our passenger used Maurice Iwu to conduct elections in such a way that in a polling unit, you will see a registered voters of 500. At the end of the day, the votes that will come will be 2,000. And people imagine that how you have a 500 registered voters in a particular polling unit. At the end of the day, you are counting 2,000 votes. And don't forget the last election, our opposition party now pointed accusing fingers at the INEC chairman that he did everything. In fact, to make it worse, they were unable to upload presidential election results. No, with Angela, we were set together on that particular election. That what would have happened, that only presidential election were unable to be uploaded on INEC server. And people were like, the INEC chairman was doing the bidding of Mr. President. So this has been there secret, because Mr. President is still the one appointing these people in offices. IG now will be, although the appointment of IG will be a ratification from the Nigerian Police Council, but at the end of the day, it's the president that will give a final verdict. Okay, I'm appointing you as the next IG. Go to the Senate for confirmation. The Chief Justice of Nigeria will know that it's coming from the Nigerian Judicial Council. Ratification will come from that place. They will just throw it to the Mr. President. Mr. President, okay, you are good. Go to National Assembly for confirmation. INEC chairman will also come. So that's why you see that anytime that these people are having EU with Nigerians, they tend to believe that they are doing the bidding of master who appointed them into office. So people are saying that it's the Mr. President that is using the Nigerian police force now to intimidate the NSC president, just to silence him and so on and so forth. But I think Nigerian police now must understand that this issue of Joe Ajaro is a sensitive case, because I think, like, if at the end of the day, a court found Ajaro innocent of the particular act, it will dent the image of Nigerian police force. Because we've seen, in fact, for example, we've seen cases where EFCC will allege some people for money laundering, charge them to court. At the end of the day, the person will win that particular. We've seen cases where EFCC have been defeated by some people in court, and people will tell you that EFCC doesn't have their fact and they did not do their own work. before coming to court to say that these people being arrested. So to me, Nigerian police force must understand that this game has started. Okay. And if at the end of the day, I tell you that this case will not end at the police, because if at the end of the day, after the invitation, and the police says that, okay, with what we've said now, we believe that we don't have anything, I don't go to court, that initially want to dent my image. So I'm suing you for this amount of money or public apology. You say no. So I think the Nigerian police should ensure that they have their own fact and figure. So at the end of the day, it won't be maybe the hunter not be hunted at the end of the day. And it will, like I said, it will dent the image of Mr. President and dent the image of the current Inspector General of Police, that maybe they are trying now to silence the NLC plan. Because like I said, charging someone with financing terrorism act is not an easy allegation. It's a grievous allegation that can even go to what we call ICC, International Criminal Court.
Anyways, before we go on, I have a question before we go for our short break. Now, the question is, if this is still an allegation as it is being put, does this mean that the NLC body are right for requesting that the people who have been detained should be released and all those things that were taken from them should be brought back? But before you answer that question, let's go for the short break, and then when we get back, we can dive into it. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Before we lead for that particular segment, Angela did ask our political prophet here a question, and I guess it's time to let you actually through. Or maybe Angela should just go back to the question just one more time for the sake of you that just happened to just jump in at this moment.
Well, before we went for the business break, I earlier asked that since this is put as an allegation at the moment, and the clamor from the NLC members to requesting that there's some of the people who have been detained by the police should be released, do you think they are right for asking this at the moment?
Yes, in fact, all well-meaning Nigerians are right now asking for those that were unlawfully now, because we need to use the word unlawfully arrested during the particular protest and being detained now. You know, in fact, during the 2020 NSAS protest, some people were also unlawfully arrested that they spent, should I say, months now, or weeks or days now at the Nigerian police night, carry out investigation. At the end of the day, they were released. So I think we should not repeat what happened during 2020 NSAS protest, and this actually happened to people that they don't know and important figures in society. You say now they don't have that particular connection that's very strong. You know, we have some people that if you should arrest them now, it will just take them a call to put a call through, and the next call will be just allow him to go. But it's like Nigerians who doesn't have big people now on their side. There has been the one at the receiving end. Anytime we have this unlawful arrest or detention of some people in the police, and I know they will be there for days, for not, and if care is not taken agenda, in fact, that's why we'll be saying that majority of people who are in our various correctional centers in Nigeria, there are people that are even awaiting trial. Some people, when you go to the police net now, you see some people who have been abandoned. They have no people to come and plead their case. There are no people who will come and bail them. As are the people you see found at the police custodies now. So I think we should not allow this to continue in a country that's being governed by a rule of law, in a country that even the judiciary aspect is very strong, viable, and is there to protect the common man. And like we always say, that judiciary is the last hope of common man. And I want to believe that those people who were unlawfully arrested and detained now, I think we can categorize them under the common man, because if they are common handed like us, we dare not touch them in the first place, because all those people that they belong to uncommon people of Nigeria, that's why you see police now harassing them, putting them behind the bars and so on and so forth. So I think I align with the call of the Nigerian Labour Congress, the fact that they did not engage in any criminal activity, because it is easier said than done. No, we can be saying that the Nigerian police should release them, and if you hear the side of the Nigerian police, I think they have an explanation to tell us the reason why people were arrested in the first place, and why they are still under detection of the Nigerian police control. I think when you have the Nigerian police now, they have their own side of story, because I want to believe that we don't have a system in such a way that people can just unpick anywhere or anyhow and put them behind the bar. Something must have happened for police officer to come and say that they want to arrest a particular set of people. And we need to know if these people are now missed or maybe misidentified with those who carry out some nefarious activities during that particular protest. So I think I align with the call of the Nigerian Labour Congress that those who were unlawfully arrested should be released with immediate effect. And I think this cry now should go beyond Labour and Nigerian Labour Congress. I think this is one of the responsibilities of the Nigerian Bar Association, Angela. If you agree with me, it is the association is not just there to be holding conferences for one place or another. I think they should be there fighting for the government. And during the last administration of the immediate past president of the Nigerian Bar Association, he made mention that they have this particular segment under that bar, under the Nigerian Bar that are for all this pro bono, for all these public services in such a way like this. We have some lawyers that will go there, hear the case of those people that were detained, whether it's something that they can be released or something that they can charge to court to hear what really happened. So I think the Nigerian Bar Association has a lot to do in this particular aspect, that anytime we have something like this now, they need to wade in, go there and offer that particular legal service they can offer for fellow Nigerians, because they are even there for we Nigerians, whether we like it or not, even though we know some of them that are privately running their own businesses, that if money doesn't come, they will never offer any legal services. But I think we have a particular department that are for this particular session. So I think the cry should go beyond Labour. Even the media should start sharpening that particular cry that those that were unlawfully detained during the 10 days protest should be released with immediate effect.
So Sam, I know you're not a political office holder at this point.
Exactly.
Forgive me the way I'm going to ask this next question. I want to find out if you could confirm the federal government's blockage of the 83 billion naira mobilization funds, and what do you think prompted this action?
I think what prompted this action was what we saw in the 2020 exit, because no matter what we'll be discussing now, or what happened during the 10 days protest now, can be traced back to what happened during the 2020 NSAS protest. Ezekiel, when you look at 2020 NSAS protest, you agree with me that people were on street without being tired, just like during that time, each day they regain money. In fact, we were told that some celebrity were giving them free Wi-Fi, free airtime, just to keep uploading so that the whole world will be able to see what is going on in Nigeria. In fact, it got to a point, some people were cooking for them. I'm talking about 2020 NSAS now. Some people were cooking for them. They will eat, they will drink, they were doing fine, and that particular support now kept them going on during that particular NSAS protest. It's like when you're on the street for 2 or 3 days.
But there was nothing illegal about that. It was all legal.
No. There was nothing illegal about that, unless, when I say unless we have some external forces who are supporting them to go against the government. It is then the law.
It was a protest. Nobody was going.
No, Ezekiel, it is then the law will see something wrong about that. It is true, it is protest, but let me tell you that if protest is not properly managed, Ezekiel, it can escalate to another thing that government capacity will not be able to control. We saw it in Kenya. Don't forget, we saw it in Kenya.
This was a protest, and they were donors. So were you saying the donors were wrong, or they shouldn't be a certain form of donation?
No.
It's democracy, and
yes,
things are such allowed.
Yeah. Ezekiel. I'm not saying that the donors. Let's start talking. Let's continue with 2020 now. I'm not saying the donors were wrong for donating money, donating food. I said that particular donation will keep their energy high, and will keep them being on the street, agitating for their right, clamoring for this, and so on and so forth. I said it will be wrong when the donation started moving towards another direction in such a way that it will put threat on the government, on the power. I'm not speaking for the government now. I'm not the government spokesperson now. But it will be wrong when you are supporting those who are protesting. Okay, for example, now look at what happened in Kano. Let's assume that those who carried out looting, damaging government properties, setting places on fire, they've been given more money, been given more backup to continue to be doing what they are doing. The law will not say that is right. Don't forget that it got to a point where they started waving a Russian flag. that was motivation. Take this flag. Just be waving it. Those who gave them were behind the scenes, but they understood that particular action, and that was then the chief of defense staff came out that is like, no, this protest is going towards another direction. So when you motivate protesters, maybe you give them, in fact, don't forget that when you give them more data, give them more airtime to start uploading a lot of things and so on and so forth, government may not find that easy, because the more the international community, the more they keep seeing that particular protest going viral and so on and so forth, the more they start checkmating the government in power. That is like, this thing is going beyond its capacity. But when donors are donating something contrary now to what we call a peaceful protest, nobody can tell me that those who gave those flags to protesters in Kano are doing that lawfully. It's not lawful, Ezekiel. It's unlawful, because the implication is, in fact, don't forget that it got to a point where those people were calling for military intervention. So do you want to tell me that those who told them that start chanting that we need military to come are doing the right thing? Automatically, they are doing the wrong thing. Because when you say that you are protesting against bad governance, bad governance, you are waving a Russia flag, calling for Putin. I don't know if they were calling for Putin to come and arrest Bola Ahmed Tinubu or to declare a state of emergency in Nigeria. And again, you are now calling for military to take over the government. So Ezekiel, you can't tell me that the donors of that or those ideas, no, donors can come in time of cash and time of ideas.
All right, let's talk about the connection between these blocked funds and the recent nationwide strike, nationwide protest.
I think what government is trying to do, because recently I listened to the Minister of Budget and National Planning, that former immediate past governor of Kebbi State, it was talking that this issue of blockage of this particular amount of money now, we try to reduce the strength of these protesters so that they won't go beyond the boundary. Ezekiel is like, when you are carrying out an activity, or you are planning to embark on the particular activities, and you have more finance. Don't forget that what made your book.
When you talk about this activity, sometimes make me sound as if it was an illegal movement. It was a peaceful protest. It demanded funds.
Ezekiel, let me use this now to answer the question. Don't forget that what made EU of Boko Haram insurgency in Nigeria to linger for years was the issue of financing by some people that today we are yet to know. Like Mohammed promised us that they will publish the name of Boko Haram sponsor in Nigeria. During his 8 years as Minister of Information, he did not publish any particular name. So that was what strengthened Boko Haram then in Nigeria. For them to start launching attack, you see now, gaining more territories and another part of the country, because we were told that they are what we call an external sponsor who are sponsoring them, who are giving them more ammunition and so on and so forth. And I think the reason why government tried to block that particular ammunition was what we saw at the northern part of the country. Don't forget that at the southern part of the country, nothing like violence. The protests in Lagos State, in fact, during that 10 days, people were going to their working places in Lagos. People were carrying out their lawful businesses in Lagos. So at the southern part of the country, the protests went peacefully. Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Oyo, and so on and so forth went peacefully. But I think the fear came in when people started seeing what was going on at the other part of the country. People trying to go to the Kaduna government house, whether to take over government there. We saw how 3 local governments in Yobe State was razed, vehicles were vandalized. We saw how even bomb blasts rocked Maiduguri during that particular protest. We saw how some places in Kano were set ablaze, how people looted some places, how people damaged government property, and so on and so forth. And I think government was like, if care is not taken, these people can get external connection. You understand, Ezekiel, in such a way that moving to a point that they started whipping another country's flag, they started calling for military intervention. So I think government believe that if proper care is not taken, Ezekiel, these people can get what we call an external sponsor in such a way that they keep financing, giving them money to do whatever they want to do, to cause more trouble and so on and so forth. And I think that happened to be the reason. I'm not here to speak for government. I think that would be the reason why government tried to block the loophole or block the channel that people will try to finance this particular protest. Let me tell you, if people are on the street, Ezekiel, and nothing like motivation, don't forget that during that protest, we saw a particular police officer who were giving bottled water to some protesters in Abuja. You know, that particular thing, we energize them, we keep them going. But when you are protesting, and there's nothing like something that will motivate you, nothing like food, nothing like water. How many people can sustain 10 days on the street without food, without water, without anything? In fact, it got to a point some people will use their vehicle to move themselves from one place to another. So I think that's the reason why government said that I think we need to give a particular step to block. But I think it is important, Ezekiel, for transparency and accountability to know those behind those accounts.
Exactly.
You block a particular account without revealing those
exactly my
accounts.
point. According to the report, they said various political actors in Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina. Now they were not revealed.
So Ezekiel, Angela, so that is my point as well. You can't say that you blocked some accounts, some money, without revealing the owners of that particular account. So to me, it would just be like government is trying to play to gallery, or government is trying
and
to.
Aside that, is it even legal for the government to actually hijack that?
No, Angela. If there is what we call an intelligence report,
okay.
You know, I'm not a security expert. We have some people, and that's why we have the office of the National Security Advisor to Mr. President. His office is purely based on gathering intelligence, whether from the Nigerian Police Force, from the DSS, from SSS, and so on and so forth. So if there is what we call an intelligence that so is bound to happen, and if we allow this to happen, it can escalate this protest to a point that we will not have capacity now to control it, and this is the best way to go to arrest this. So I want to believe maybe federal government acted based on intelligence, because if not intelligence, Angela, how do they know the holders of the particular account to a point that you go and just tell the bank? You know, it's a long process. It has to be in conjunction with CBN and their banks, because you can't freeze my account now without even CBN. CBN have to know. But if there's any intelligence report that someone want to use his account now to finance some people to cause trouble, they don't need to notify me. It will just be from a bank in collaboration with CBN, and I will just go that I can't withdraw anything, or I can't do anything with that particular account. But where I'm going is that it goes beyond coming out to say that a particular account has been frozen. You see now, come out and tell us the owner or the holders of those particular accounts, at least, so that at least they can also be tried for trying to sponsor a get of problem against the government of the. So we don't want to be hearing that government trying to block a particular channel in which they want to use that particular channel now to motivate some people now to maybe to wage war, to wage a kind of a problem against government. So federal government now, if the federal government wants us to believe them, they have to come out, tell us. This is what they told us when they said that they removed first subsidy. We were told that some cabals are behind first subsidy now, that the corruption behind the subsidies. Up to today now, they don't tell us those behind the corruption at the subsidy. Now they have to come out now and tell us those behind that particular account, they charge them to court. So, you know, I think that is what Nigerians are expecting.
Talking on people behind this account, many believe is an attack on political opponents. I don't know if you share that sentiment. Although with Nigeria, anything is
political.
You know, Ezekiel, anything in Nigeria now has been politicized. You say now, even if you and your friend is fighting, now maybe his father belongs to a political party, one political party, you say that he's using the father influence now to fight you and so on and so. So anything slight thing that will happen in Nigeria, we tend to politicize it and so on and so forth. If we have some political gladiators from opposition party now that try now to sponsor some people now to cause problems in this country, there's nothing wrong with Ezekiel. If we are praying those kind of people, there's nothing wrong in it, because this is our country and it's a sovereign country in such a way that we shall be guided by under the law and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So nobody can sit anywhere believing that maybe you contested a particular election and you don't win, and the next thing for you now is to start sponsoring some people. I'm not alleging anybody, I'm not mentioning anybody's name. I'm just trying to explain what people are thinking. That nobody should sit anywhere, that the next thing for you now is to start sponsoring some people to cause chaos in the country in such a way that the country will be upside down. So I think that's what government is supposed to be doing. That if they know this set of people, Ezekiel, let us know their faces, let us know their names and so on and so forth, and what they are trying to do, then charge them to court for trying to instigate violence against the government of the day. So we cannot just come out and say that you blocked some account, huge amount of money that some set of people want to use now to sponsor some people now to attack the government under this guise of protest. Name them, let us know them, because if government continue on this kind of attitude, you know, you have been there for long. In fact, there was a time that Jonathan said that Boko Haram were his government, Boko Haram members were in his government, and throughout the time he left government, he did not disclose those people who happened to be Boko Haram members that were in his government. Buhari came on board talking about those people financing terrorists, those people do and so on. They did not mention their name before leaving office. So we've had this one again. So I think it's that time in this country that if anything like this will happen, Nigerians are interested to know this kind of people. Because if you don't tell Nigerians, it's just like Nigeria will just be taking government for granted, and Nigeria will not see government as being serious. You know, or maybe government try to blackmail, use that one to blackmail, because you know, each time, you know, we can predict if the government is saying that some political opponents are sponsoring some people not to covenant, it is easy for Nigeria to predict the kind of people federal government is talking about. You know, the first thing we go to maybe do people who contested presidential election and they don't win. That is the first people that Nigerians will be thinking towards. You know, and that would be wrong from the part of government. Not until you're able to mention their names and they're like, okay, these are the people that wanted to use their accounts now to cause problems in this country.
Let's talk a little about the National Security Advisor. Many tend to query or question the involvement or the role of the National Security Advisor in this decision. And they tend to, want to ask what is the justification for involving national security in what they believe is more like a democratic exercise. I don't know if you could balance that, or is it really questionable?
No, Ezekiel, it is true a democratic exercise, but we can't say that. I don't know if it is here on or other media houses that I said it, that if people want to protest, do you even know the number of people that want to protest with you? You only know yourself. That okay, I want to join the protest, and my whole now is to call government attention that they need to do this. You don't know others' motive. You don't know what they want to do. In fact, those who protested in Kano and started looting, I want to believe that they did not put it on their forehead that on that particular day we are going to loot, we are going to damage, we are going to bomb. They did not put it on their forehead, not until that day when they started exhibiting that criminal activity. So you can't say that this is a democratic setting and the office of the National Security Advisor has nothing to do with it, because intelligence has nothing to do whether it's a democratic setting or this is a military setting. Intelligence has to do with any system of government we have in this country. And the role of intelligence, Ezekiel, is to prevent breaking down of law and that. But intelligence work in such a way that there's not that you can't see. They work on underground and they try to project what tend to happen, or some people with bad motive towards a particular day. So we can never put aside or dissociate or try to separate the office of the National Security Advisor with what we saw recently during the 10 days nationwide protest, because his office is supposed to be there to work in line with all security agencies to ensure that whether within or outside, we doesn't have some sponsors that will sponsor these people against the government of the day. Whether we like it or not, after the Supreme Court verdict, this government has come to say till the next 4 years. So the next 4 years, people can decide that, okay, we don't want this particular government in place, let us bring in another government. And that was what we saw in 2015 during presidential election, when Jonathan was ousted out of office through the ballot. So I think the office of the NSA is a very critical office, Ezekiel, because that is the office that is coordinating the security architecture in Nigeria. All the security architecture in Nigeria, they are under the office of the National Security Advisor to feed him with more intelligence, to feed him with more report that this is likely to happen. And let me tell you, this blockage of money will have been on the table of the NSA, that we found out that some people want to use their account now to finance some people to cause trouble, and we give order, okay, block their account through the CBN, through their various banks, and so on and so forth. Then at the end of the day, you can start releasing the money. But I think we should go beyond that particular action in Nigeria. Let us move and take a bold step forward in such a way that if such thing to happen, those who are behind those particular things will be able to name them, shame them, and tell Nigerians that people who wanted to exercise their fundamental right under the law But these are the people that planned to use their money now to cause another problem in there. So the office of the NSA now is critical even in the democratic system of government. Even during the military regime now, you know that we have all military architecture across the country. But this is civilian government, and we can't relax to say that this is a democratic setting, that nothing could go wrong at any time. So at every time, you have to be on their toes to work towards ensuring that there's nothing like breach, there's nothing like security breach that can bring down a constituted government in it. So the office of NSA is very critical to national security. And national security has to do with intelligence, what you can see, especially what you cannot see. That is what intelligence is, because as we are here now, we don't know what is happening outside. But when we have what we call intelligence gathering, we tell you that this is exactly what is going on outside. So that office is very key to national security, whether within or outside, or whether those working underground now to cause problems, so that before that problem will arise, we'll have just quench the fire. But on this issue of money blocked, we need to know orders of the particular account.
Sorry, I'm going to go to you, Ezekiel. But earlier you made mention of the fact that Nigerian government over time has, like say, made it like a norm to always keep closure of the people who are accused of such acts in Nigeria. Now, what do you think this shows of Nigerian government integrity? No,
Angela, it shows that maybe even the government is playing to the gallery, or trying to politicize something, or trying to cause or instigate enmity between the opposition and the people of Nigeria. You know, like I keep saying that each time government is talking about this thing, you can't believe in that those in government will be nursing those ambitions against government. The thought and belief will be those outside the government who also wanted power at one point or the other, but they were unable to clinch to power. Maybe they were the one trying to do everything possible now to bring down the government. So I think it is not too good for. Don't forget that when Donald Trump was accused, it was mentioned, and it was so to, if it is Nigeria now, they will tell you that a former president of the country, so on and so forth. So I think we need that particular action in Nigeria, that if something like this should happen, Nigerians are interested, because we are talking about you block a particular amount of money that some people want to use. Nigeria are not even interested. What Nigeria are interested in is that please name this set of people, so that it will look as if you are trying to be a judge in your own case. You understand now? You have a case already, and you are judging already that these are the people that don't forget that before that protest, there was this issue of media war between Bayo Onanuga and Peter Obi, when he alleged that Peter Obi would be the one to sponsor the nationwide protest, and Peter Obi replied that it has nothing to do with the protest, that we even sue Bayo Onanuga for trying to defame his character, defamation of character. So this thing, each time government is coming out with this particular claim, without coming up to tell us those behind it, without coming up to show us the clarity behind that. So it tends to be moving towards denigrating the activities of the opposition party and try to create a kind of enmity between them and the opposition. No, like I said now, something like this now, Nigerians will be believing that those in the opposition party, maybe they're the ones that are trying to use their account now to sponsor some people now to cause problem in this country. And that will not be true. So government should not acting as if Nigerians are not intelligent, as if Nigerians will just absorb anything that will come from them. Government need to be more transparent and let us to understand what is going on. If you allege some people to be doing some things, can you please name them so that Nigerians will know, and those people will be able to develop. Ajero was alleged, isn't it? So that's how things supposed to be. Bring out some people. This account now, if care is not taken now, that's how the EU will die down. And another matter will come up in Nigeria, and people will forget that some accounts have been blocked because that they want to use the account now to finance protests that will bring down the government, and we'll be talking about the latest thing now. I think that's the EU of money now is gradually going down. The EU on time has been the EU between Ajero now and the Nigerian police force. So that's where the problem lies. Government tried to come up with EU without clarity that will make Nigeria to believe that truly this is good. So I think with this now, Nigeria can even say that government is lying. Yes, because when you come out with a particular report without even try to link it to one or two persons that can even come out now and defend themselves, then Nigeria will believe that maybe government is trying to cook up a story just to scare people away and so on and so forth.
Well, I guess for me, I would like to go on and on, as always, but time has always been a factor on this show. But nonetheless, during the protest, the president came out to actually talk about accountability and transparency. So would only hope that the 83 billion naira will be whatever indices or factor that tend to define this money would be clearly explained to Nigerians at some point. You know, I think from the issue of subsidy, we've always wanted to know what has been happening in this government, from in this administration. Subsidy money, what happened to it? I think it was later we tend to find out that the bunch of the money from subsidy was being given to governors. Well, we can't really trace it at some point, but I guess we are still hopeful. And I hope whatever is going to happen to the 83 billion, if it's going to be disbursed or not, or given back to where it came from, it should be accounted for. You know, there should be some form of transparency at every point. Once again, Sam, thank you for joining us on the show.
This episode.
A wonderful morning with you as always. So at this point, I guess it's safe to say a wrap. It has been a wonderful morning as far as I'm concerned about you, Angela.
And I'm now energetic to face my day. As though I participated, though.
I guess we all are at some point. So you do have a great day. I am Ezekiel Ogar.
And I'm Angela Daku. Have a blessed day.
Yes, there is news on your device, but hearing an analyst perspective is the icing on the cake that Daybreak Africa provides. Start your day with prompt analysis of the latest news, trends,
exactly, and then you see these people, they are so agile, they can do a lot of
politics.
We have to go back to that regional system. That is the foundation of this country, for God's sake.
Entertainment, fashion, culinary skills.
So first I'm going to be pouring the oil inside because
religious and cultural events amongst others on Daybreak Africa.
For a rich mix of analysis on current issues, tune in daily from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on channel 480 and 124 on Startimes.